Welcome to Healing Highs with Lara, where we talk about the highlights and serendipitous moments on our healing journeys. I'm Lara. Thank you for listening. Today we're going to talk about chanting, and I just want to say at the beginning of this isn't something I feel like I'm an expert at or, have some certification, but I use chanting a lot in my own healing. And when I hold space with different ceremonies, cacao ceremonies, I also will use chanting. And I've had so many experiences where it has facilitated some really deep healing, some healing that has been for my own life, some ancestral healing. When I've done it in community, there's some really interesting moments that have occurred while we are all chanting together. So I wanted to share a little bit about my experience with chanting. A little bit about chanting and ways that it can help you is it improves your mental health. It can decrease anxiety. When you chant, it can help regulate or slow down your breathing. It also activates the vagus nerve, which is extremely helpful in helping you move into a parasympathetic state. It can help your meditation. So if some people feel like meditation is hard for them, it's hard for them to clear their mind. In chanting, you're focusing on your breathing, you're focusing on the sounds that you're creating, and it can be a complex mantra to a very simple sound. And so that can really help you to allow your brain to focus on this healing sound, this healing frequency, without this idea of needing to clear your mind. Chanting doesn't necessarily need to be loud or prolonged. Just at a comfortable volume, stopping when you need rest. I know there are different versions of chanting that I've experienced with different facilitators where you might chant loud or you might chant very quickly. You might say the same mantra in different ways, from a very easy flowing sound to a fast sound to a louder sound to a softer sound, and then even silently. You can even have the chant or the mantra and you are just saying it silently in your mind. So you're chanting internally. And again, this is helping you focus on something so that it can allow you to move into a meditative state, maybe a little easier than if you were to just try to sit in silence. In my experience, and I wish I could remember where I learned this, but I, a long time ago, learned that when you chant for over 12 minutes, something can really open up and enhance in your healing. It kind of moves you into a different state more spiritually, and there's a lot of different benefits that can come from that. But you can do it for any length of time. Anything is great. I do try in anything that I do for myself or facilitate for others to attempt to do chanting for 12 to 15 minutes to 20 minutes, just depending on what it is that we're doing or what I'm doing. It really helps you move into processing emotions and relaxing. The longer you're chanting, it does help you move into more insights spiritually. And so again, I want to share some experiences that I've had in chanting. When I've chanted with community, we've had experiences where everyone has experienced a feeling of like a portal opening up or a vortex being created by all of our voices if we're in a circle. And after we're done chanting, everyone describes this, or many people in the room describe the same feeling of feeling the energy whirling around us or creating a vortex or opening something up, or feeling like people are coming, like energies are coming from outside of us to the circle to help us hold this container of healing, which is really unique and special to feel with others, right? You're not just by yourself doing this healing, but you're with others, and you're all, or many of you are experiencing this. It's really special and really validating. I've also had moments where I've been chanting and I've accessed ancestral energies, memories, purgings, so that I've seen images or flashes of lifetimes or ancestors, family members, and then felt emotions coming through. And so it's almost like while you're chanting, these like tears are coming through or different things are happening, but you feel almost a separation of them. They're not really yours. And then at times you can feel like it is yours or it is yours. And you are moving through these emotions, releasing them through the frequency of the sound, through your body, being focused on this vibration and creating this sound. One time I was doing a heart opening meditation and then doing chanting. And if you've ever taken advanced theta healing course or the soulmate theta healing course, there's something that is created in that modality called the heart song. So that's what it was that I was doing. And it was really it can access emotions that are stored in different areas of the body, and specifically starting with the heart. You can move through ancestral things. You can move through collective conscious things. You can move through your own personal journey and emotions. And so in this one time, I was doing it for myself and doing the meditation and doing the chanting. And we're just chanting the simple sound. There's not any other words. At the time was the Me Too movement was going on, and I was aware of it. It was around me. I was, listening to people's stories and honoring their experiences. But I hadn't really, I've had my own experiences with those things, but I wasn't totally connecting to my own experiences around it, and more just listening to other people's stories and what was going on with the movement. And so just separately of that, I thought, this day I was doing some healing for myself, and I thought, let me do this exercise, let me do this chant. And as I was chanting, I started having memories of me as a teenager in high school and different times that I experienced sexual harassment. And they were just like being purged from my experience and being shown to me as I was chanting. And if I were to talk about that or to have somebody ask me if I remember them, I do. They were not in the forefront of my mind at all. So it was really interesting how it accessed these just because of the collective frequency of what was going on and being shifted at the time. And then my own healing, those were the things that came to the surface for me. And I was really acknowledging these different moments. I had actually 3 different teachers that were like history teachers, political science teachers, 3 different men who during my junior and senior year of high school were sexually harassing me in different ways, 2 of which were very overt and obvious in front of other class members, so much to the point that one of them my mother confronted, one of them my father confronted. That ended that. And then the third one, which was really coming up in the chanting, was one I had kind of forgotten about because it was an isolated one-time incident. And I literally was shown it in the chanting where I was standing giving a presentation with other classmates, and the teacher was in the back, and he was just being really perverse towards me as I was giving my presentation. And then this person next to me that was about to give his presentation, he and I had actually been friends since we were like 6 and 7 years old and reconnected that year. And when it came, I just kind of froze and gave my presentation, just kind of not understanding what was going on. And then when he gave his presentation, he said, "Are you going to look at me the way you've been looking at her?" And it kind of really shifted the room and stopped him dead in his tracks, the teacher. And I felt like so validated and seen. And I think I just like moved on with my day, being a 15, 16-year-old kid. Like I didn't know what to do about it, but I was so grateful for him calling that out. And I don't think we ever talked about it. So in this chanting that I was doing, I was shown specifically those things, but really that scene. And I had kind of forgotten about that. And I was releasing that and witnessing it and witnessing myself and witnessing this person that did that, for me. And I actually reached out to them through social media and said, I don't know if you remember this, but I just want to acknowledge that you did that and tell you thank you. I didn't know what to do at that time, being so young, and times were different. And he was so lovely and so respectful and so sweet to kind of engage in a conversation about that and what was going on in general with the movement. So yeah, just because I'm doing this chanting for 15 minutes, connecting with my heart in this place, I was able to have some real healing around something I hadn't even had in the forefront of my mind as something that was something I was carrying, was something that was going on within my subconscious, really all through the chanting. So there's so many valid and unique ways that chanting can be helpful and support you in your healing. So today, I just wanted to share those things with you, and I want to take us through some very easy chanting. I know that if you are on your healing journey, we're just going to do a few minutes, but you'll be able to decide if you want to just enjoy the frequency of it, if you want to move into having an intention about connecting with your ancestors, connecting with the collective, your own healing. There's times even where I've done chanting where, again, I'm just chanting as a meditation, and then I'll see different images of things that are just happening on the planet throughout. And I know we're doing some healing for the way that we're connected with the collective consciousness. So really anything can come up. You can, in the future, look for different mantras that you want to do. There's different frequencies held in every mantra, different sounds, seed sounds for the chakras. Today, I literally just want to chant the sound ah, just to keep it very simple and pure. And again, you don't have to be loud. You can just be soft, stopping and starting when you want to, high, low, tone, whatever you want to do. And we're just going to move into doing that now. If you want to join me for 5 minutes of chanting, and make sure you're in a safe space where if you want to close your eyes and focus on this, you can. And so I was really feeling that and really moving through that. This tea is so great. Do you guys know that this episode is sponsored by Seva Tea? It's handcrafted for the conscious soul, deeply rooted in ancient wisdom of Ayurveda. Each sip, Seva Tea invites you on a sacred journey of self-care, elevating your soul through a mindful practice. Seva Tea is available at Seva Tea Lounge in Kavala Wellness in Long Beach, California, and on Etsy. Learn more at Seva Tea Lounge on Instagram. All right, so let's close our eyes and just take a deep breath in and exhale. And whenever you're ready, just connecting with your heart and taking in a breath, and we'll chant then you can go ahead and continue to chant that, but silently for the last minute. And when you're ready to stop, just sitting quietly, feeling that vibration moving through you from the sounds that you created. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. I wanted to share 2 more things about chanting with you. One was an experience I had where I facilitated a cacao ceremony, and then we did some chanting, and we were all just chanting the same seed sound. And afterwards, a lot of us had heard actual singing, like as if someone was singing a song with lots of different words in another language. And many of us in the room felt and heard those sounds, even though everyone there was only singing one sound similar to what we just did. So it was really unique and special that the group of us, the type of energy we were sharing and healing together, had brought that in. And also to remind you that in these examples that I'm giving you, sometimes I'm talking about like we're releasing something, we're witnessing something, we're allowing ourselves to purge something. But also you can chant positive things. You can chant, like affirmations and things that you want to call in that are positive energies, that are light and fun and joyful. And you can make those your intentions through chanting. So you can really use it for anything. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you today. So thank you so much for joining me. I want to ask our question to the void today. Void, your question of the day is, what does stardust feel like?
Smooth velvet.
Cool. Sounds really nice to be wrapped in stardust. Amazing. Thank you so much for being here, healer. And thank you for joining us always on these podcasts. I wish you joy and serendipity on your healing journey. And I know our paths will cross again.